Good morning and welcome to the Coastal Business Channel. Today we're going to discuss 6 opportunities where you can make $3,000 a week. Actually, when I looked at the article, it said $3,000 a day, and you might be able to. I think $3,000 a week is still pretty aggressive. $3,000 a day, you're really going to have to put in effort. So a lot of these opportunities that you see on YouTube and on my channel about how much you can make in a day, it's not, for free. It's not without effort on your part. So you're willing to put in the effort, you're going to be able to do this. Thankfully on my list is not YouTube channel, because I see YouTube channel a lot where you can make $3,000 a day, $10,000 a week. Maybe eventually I'll make that. Now I've been doing this for 6 weeks and I've made $0. And I imagine in the next 6 weeks, I will be making $0. So maybe 5 years from now, I'm making $10,000 a month, a week, $10,000 a day. It's not anytime soon. And you can see a lot of YouTubers do not make substantial amount of money. But here are my 6 options for you to make $3,000 in a week. So number 1 is starting a blog or a website. The only way it works for you to, let's say on a blog, to make $3,000 a week is by having affiliated marketing or selling products on your site, getting sponsored. If you can get sponsored for your blog or vlog for that matter, that's another way to make money. My channel doesn't really promote a specific product, so I don't necessarily see where I'm going to get sponsored, but you never know. I mean, maybe it's Diet Coke. I usually have it out. It's right over there. It's usually out of the view. Maybe Diet Coke will sponsor me. Then again, I don't have the subscribers or views to warrant someone being sponsored. And again, that's me doing this 6 weeks. I don't think anything's going to change in the next 6 weeks, or probably even, 3 months from now. Will I get more subscribers? I hope so. Maybe I'll be up to 1,000 at that point, but I'm not going to be at 1 million subscribers where someone's going to want to sponsor me. So these things take time. You can also, YouTube again, you have to hit certain thresholds, and that's going to take me months. But on a blog too, maybe you can get some advertising on your blog. I do have that on my blog. I do have advertising. I just don't necessarily have the views to warrant me getting paid for the advertising. And then also maybe I can get sponsored content. So you can get sponsored for your website or blog, but you can also get sponsored content. So that's one of the options. Another option is to be selling products or services on the e-commerce platform. So Amazon, eBay, Craigslist for used items. Look at these sources as ways to sell items. I did have an Etsy shop. I did have it where I was making over $3,000 a week. It took time and it took a lot of effort. Especially with Etsy, you're shipping your own goods. So you're printing out the label, shipping your own goods. I made my own goods, so it took me about, I would say it took me about 15 minutes to sell a product where I was getting about $15 off of, my profit was $15. So you have to think, how much was I selling? If I was profiting about $60 an hour, how much was I selling? And you could do the math to get to $10,000. It was a lot, and I was working a lot. I was working 7 days a week. I was working 5:30 in the morning. I was taking chunks of time off in the middle, which was what I loved about it, to be with my kids. But it does take a lot of effort on Amazon and Etsy to sell. The number 3 online opportunity, which I haven't done, which I've heard a lot, I did look into Udemy, is to do online courses or ebooks. And I think if you make an online course, you could probably turn it into an ebook. I think that's a wonderful idea. And part of it is if you put in a 40-hour work week to make, to make online content for a course, if you have that content, you can also sell it as an ebook. Guess what? You do it once, and then you're reaping that reward. So to me, that's the best way to do it. I actually have looked into doing an online course. I'm not sure what subject matter. So part of it is subject matter I like, as well, finance as well, serviced on Udemy, and ebooks. You can just find a ton of books and a ton of services selling these products. But so that's because you do it once, right? So if you can do one course, let's say one course a month, after 12 months, you have 12 courses. So you might not be making $3,000 a week right away, But if you keep making these courses, maybe like a year from now, you're making much more than $3,000 a week. So look into online courses and ebooks, and it doesn't have to be like a high school or college subject, right? It could be knitting, right? I love to knit. So if you had an online course that's going to teach me how to do cable knits, I just do plain designs. I did not make this. I probably could though, if I had the patience and the desire, because these are just normal, everyday kind of knitting strokes, knitting, whatever. I don't know. I'm not making a course on how to knit, obviously. You can also provide freelance services. So you can go through writing, editing, graphic design. You can look at Fiverr, Fiverr, and Upworks and try to see where you can sell your services online. Number 5, I've done, actually, I did it as part of kind of my research into making these videos, and that's to do online surveys. I don't think you're ever going to make $3,000 a week doing an online survey unless you're doing it like 20 hours a day. My experience only with SurveyMonkey, sorry, I don't know why I keep calling it SurveyMonkey. Look into that and look into other online opportunities. And maybe I just quit too soon before I got paid more bucks for doing surveys. But I think like doing it like 3 or 4 hours, I made $7. And it just didn't seem worth it to me mathematically to continue doing it. But maybe maybe there's better services out there. Maybe I'm not, I'm 52. I'm not the, 30-year-old that's in a higher consumption stage of their life that this SurveyMonkey would want. Or I don't have little kids anymore. So you can look into that. The number 3 is to trade stocks and other investments. So I'm not going to go into how you specifically can do that to make $3,000 a week. It is possible. You have to start with something. The greater the risk, the greater the reward, but also the greater the loss. So keep that in mind. But you can look into, obviously Robinhood. If you don't have a lot of money, that's pretty well documented if you're into stocks and investments. But if it's important for you to make $3,000 a week online, you have to put effort into it. Whatever it is you're doing, you have to put significant amount of effort into it. And if it is trading stocks, you're like, oh, I just, press a button, I trade stock. No, you have to do a substantial amount of research to make sure that what you're trading is a good investment. So the other thing you need to keep in mind is when you are making $3,000 a week, there are tax consequences to your income. You're going to have to pay taxes. So make sure you pay attention to that. And if you set up a business, I do have videos about how to set up an LLC, how to get a tax ID, and that you're going to really need to look into when you're making a substantial amount of money. The IRS isn't going to be like, oh, great, keep it all. It's all cash, especially if you're getting paid online, right? It's totally trackable. So make sure you're playing by those rules and you're doing everything properly. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe.